Dozen.
Indonesian colossus Mount Sinabung exploded on Monday, spewing ash and steam 16,400 feet into the Indonesian sky. Over 30,000 people were forced to move away from homes near the mountain's base since the current series of eruptions began 8 years ago. The volcano's last spectacular eruption was in January this year. So far, no fatalities or injuries have been reported this time, according to the National Disaster Mitigation Agency. A state of emergency was declared in many parts of New Zealand as Cyclone Gita made landfall Tuesday and incredibly split into two storms. Serious wind damage and flooding hit the South Island as it became sandwiched by two storms. According to the New Zealand Herald, the ex-tropical cyclone caused flooding with winds up to 140 kilometers per hour and waves up to 7 meters high. This week, NOAA, or NOAA, announced January was the 5th warmest on record for the globe. However, January proved very cold for some, with crippling cold bringing strong winds and blizzards. Most of the US had a record cold January, and at one stage snow lay on the ground in all 50 states. The Gulf of Mexico and Florida suffered freeze warning as the Arctic blast hit the deep south, bringing record cold temperatures there in January. The longest cold snap in more than 80 years around Chicago area left the locals shivering, but Alaska, the UK and Holland all recorded their warmest January day. Frigid Nepal was described as cold as hell, with 221 dead and hundreds in hospital along the Indian border as temperatures there hit minus 31.5 degrees Celsius or minus 25 degrees Fahrenheit. A rare snowstorm hit the Saudi Arabian desert just days after Morocco, North Africa, saw minus 7 degrees Celsius with heavy snow, and heavy snow too in Algeria. And spare a thought for the Russians living in the Yakutia region, where temperatures of minus 84 degrees Celsius, minus 119 degrees Fahrenheit, were shattering and bursting thermometers as the insane cold lasted all the way through January. According to NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, January was the 5th warmest on record for the globe. Despite the cooling influence of La Nina this winter, the global temperature ranked among the 5 warmest on record in January. Earth's polar regions continue to experience record low ice conditions. The average global temperature in January 2018 was 1.28 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average of 53.6 degrees Fahrenheit, according to scientists from NOAA's National Centers for Environmental Information, that is. This average temperature was the 5th highest for the month of January in the NOAA's record, which dates all the way back to 1880. This was the 42nd consecutive January since 1977 and the 397th consecutive month since January 1985, with temperatures above the 20th century average. The last 4 years, 2015 to 2018, saw the 5 warmest Januaries on record. However, just last week, NOAA were caught once again altering temperature data to exaggerate global warming. According to Breitbart, the climate change alarmists appeared to be up to their usual tricks again when the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, got caught yet again exaggerating global warming by tinkering with raw temperature data. According to geophysicists with the United States Geological Survey (USGS), the past fortnight has seen Yellowstone supervolcano shaken by a swarm of over 200 earthquakes, accompanied by innumerable smaller tremors too faint to accurately record. Despite how alarming this cavalcade of seismic activity might seem, considering its unnerving proximity to one of nature's most potentially devastating powder kegs, experts are telling us not to be alarmed. Shellfish contaminated with a bug that can cause vomiting, fever and potentially deadly liver failure in the most serious cases have been found on sale in Scottish supermarkets for the first time. Blue mussels and an oyster are harvested from Scottish waters tested positive for the hepatitis E virus. They have been purchased from 4 supermarkets in the Glasgow area and a fishmonger on the east coast. It comes in the wake of a surge in the number of people struck down with the virus, with the number of laboratory diagnosed cases in Scotland climbing from 13 in 2011 to 206 in 2016. An enormous canyon-like hole has opened up in the Sun's atmosphere, which is ejecting a high-speed stream of solar wind travelling at mind-boggling speeds of around 700 to 800 kilometers per second, or more than 1 million miles per hour, which should reach Earth's magnetosphere later today. NOAA has forecasted a 65% chance of G1 class geomatic storms with bright auroras when the fast speeding solar wind arrives. We can expect major quakes in the coming days, of course, after the recent calm. The last major quake was some magnitude 7.2, which hit Mexico on the 17th of February. It's worth mentioning that of the 18 major quakes to hit our planet this year, 17 of them have occurred during coronal activity on the Sun, and 14 of them have been around the very volatile Pacific Ring of Fire, so stay tuned. And as if by magic, a very powerful magnitude 7.5 quake has rocked Papua New Guinea early this morning. Its depth was around 35 kilometers, 22 miles, which is quite shallow, USGS have said. According to USGS, the tremor hit near the center of the country's main island, around 560 kilometers, 348 miles from the capital, Port Moresby, at around 03:45 local time. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said there was no risk of a tsunami in the aftermath of the tremor. And sadly, I've been getting updates while I've been making this video. 30 plus large aftershocks, including a magnitude 6.0, have rocked Papua New Guinea since the powerful magnitude 7.5 struck early this morning, and unfortunately many lives are thought to be lost. I don't know just how many at this point. And almost 100,000 people are homeless and 8 dead, with thousands of homes destroyed, sparked by the La Niña weather phenomenon in La Paz, Bolivia. The Bolivian government is mulling whether to declare a national disaster due to the severe flooding that has driven 85,000 people from their homes across the country. As I leave you with more pictures of Mount Cinnabung erupting, we have had, up to me making this video, 98 earthquakes today, 1,175 this week, and 5,081 this month. The largest quake this week was the magnitude 7.5 in Porgera, Papua New Guinea earlier this morning. And the most significant quake so far this year was magnitude 7.5 In Honduras, a magnitude 7.2. In Mexico, a 7.1. In Peru, a 7.5 in Porgira, Papua New Guinea, that was today, and of course the magnitude 7.9 in Alaska. The warmest place on our planet last week was Oman at 46.4 degrees Celsius or 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Dome A Research Center in Antarctica had an incredible minus 57.3 degrees Celsius or minus 71 degrees Fahrenheit earlier on this week. The wettest place on the planet was Gijon Mussel in Spain at 243.55 millimeters. And that's it for this week. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. Bye.